Welcome to our Photos That Matter Most podcast. And we have a very, very special guest today. Rhonda Anderson is a very good friend and someone I have worked alongside in the photo arena for quite some time. And so today, it's so exciting. We're going to hear a little bit about her story and how we got to where we're at with the photos that matter most. So, Rhonda, I've
Yep.
heard you tell about your mom and like what got you started with
hmm
your passion for photos.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for the very kind introduction. It's a blessing to be friends and partners in our adventure together here. But yes, I was very blessed with a mom who made photo albums for me, beginning from the moment I was born. And so I grew up having my pictures and stories and photo albums where I could just reach off the shelf, open that book, and look at my pictures. They were black and white, of course, back in the day. And my parents were young when they got married. They didn't have a lot of money. So some years there were maybe 10 pictures for that year, but yet they were there. There was writing, and I could see how much I was loved. I could see my relatives. I could be entertained. Really, when you look back at just hairdos, it's entertaining. I've always said that. uh, so they were just a special keepsake, and my photo albums were so valuable to me that I literally inherited the tradition from my mom. When I was 15, I was leaning over her shoulder one day. She was putting in pictures of a band trip, and I was telling her what to do, and she said, "You know what, hon? Why don't you do this yourself?" So, like any good teenager, I'm like, "Yes, indeed, I will do it myself." And so, on the left-hand side of the page is my mother's handwriting, and on the right-hand page is my handwriting. That transition happened at the age of 15, and I've never looked back. I've been doing photo books, photo albums ever since, and loving every minute of it.
Rhonda, that is so special. And it does tell a little bit about how parents can model different things,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's the
Yeah.
photos or the reading, whatever it is. Your mom certainly modeled special things for you and those wonderful stories. So thank
Mm-hmm.
you. Okay, so now your mom got you started. Now, then you probably, as you got a little, I want to know, how did that passion actually turn into a mission and career for you while you were raising your children and living a busy mom life?
Yes, yes. Well, like I said, I made photo albums, and I wanted one for each of my children in addition to a family book. And one day in 1987, my sister called me frantically. She and I attended a mother's group called Moths, and they needed to have a craft that day, and the lady who was supposed to do it canceled. So bottom line, my sister said, "Can you just come and share something?" And I thought, well, I don't know, I'm not a crafty person, but I guess I could come and talk about photo albums. And so I had a little bit of notice. It wasn't the exact day, but I created a handout that talked about why I was so passionate to make photo albums for my family because of all the benefits. And I talked about the options that people had, press and stick and plastic pages. And then I shared how I made scrapbook pages. And so I stood up in front of these 40 women on a cold January day in 1987 and shared my photo albums with them. And it was amazing. At the end of the morning, everybody came forward and said, "I want to have photo albums for my family just like yours." And I said, "Oh, wow. Okay. Well, these photo albums I use, we have to order them. Why don't I take your name, and maybe we could get a church discount if we ordered a lot of them." And so um, before we left, though, that day, several of those moms said, "Well, can you come to my house and teach this very same thing? Because my mom needs to hear about this, my neighbors." So anyway, I started going from home to home, kind of like a Tupperware party, teaching people how to make photo albums. And that led to a phone call to the home office of the album company that I was using, which led to an invitation for me to come and visit them. And I proposed my idea that you need a home-based class in order to share the value of your photo albums. And I need your photo albums, of course, and together we could share this with more people than just the people that I knew in Billings, Montana. And so that really kicked off the birthing of Creative Memories. Yeah.
Oh, Rhonda, it is and the people you have helped because of that through those years. And then like it was like a craze, right? And a trend. And it at
Yeah.
first, did people even have digital photos?
Oh, no, because this was in the 80s. So we were buying film and printing film. And yeah, digital was, far in the distance.
So,
Yeah.
so nobody knew about even digital. And so you were helping them get them out of that closet. And you even had a little saying for that. What was it? That you got them
Well,
out of the,
I first called my class shoebox to showcase. So out of the shoebox, because a lot of people confess they kept their pictures in shoeboxes. One lady said, I just never get my film developed. They leave them in the film cartridges. Remember the old film cartridges? But then I need to get my pictures developed. But so many people had them stuffed in boxes or kitchen drawers. And so from shoebox to showcase was our phrase. And the showcase, of course, was a photo album. And I called it Shoebox to Showcase, creating family memories, creating. There was nothing creative, though, about my books. They were pictures and writing, maybe an occasional little sticker here and there in the later days, but they were not decorative. People said, your books are creative, and that's because they were comparing them to pictures in a shoebox. So when you had pictures in a box or they were in a photo album, of course they looked creative because you could look at them, but there was no colored paper, no die cuts, no layers of stickers, nothing. Pictures and writing. And that is the best way, in my opinion. When the word creative memories kind of came into the picture, I think it clouded the message somewhat, and that people thought, I have to be creative in order to make a photo album or later a photo book. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. No creativity is needed. I myself am not a creative person at all. I'm a basic girl in many ways. And so I'm just so glad that we have a chance to just get that message out there that creativity is not needed. It is just getting pictures in a place where you can look at them and you can have the writing and remember the story, remember the people's names. That's the most important.
Oh, Rhonda, what a story and what a great adventure you were on during that time period. And then what happened? Like, how did you transition to where you are today with your photos and with your success as a co-founder?
Well, of course, digital came along and we were all trying to figure that out. And we came out with a software where you could make photo books on your computer and then have them printed. And I just fell in love with that. Again, because I'm not creative and I don't like messes. I'm very much of a declutter type person. And so to not have piles of paper and all the accessories needed to make a paper scrapbook, I was thrilled with just needing my computer. That was wonderful. And then, and I loved the fact that when you make one book, you can print multiple copies. I made 5 books, one for each of my 4 kids in a family album. I could have made one and just reprinted copies. It's such a time saver to have digital, and you can correct things so much easier. And it's so much longer lasting. Now photo books are printed with acid-free paper. These books will last for 200 years. Our printed pictures don't have that kind of a lifetime. The colored pictures are not stable, and they do fade over time, but these digital photo books, they're so long lasting. And over the years, people would say to me, "Oh, Rhonda, I just wish you would make a book for me." And so after hearing that so much, about 6 years ago, I did do that. I started making photo books for people. And it's been a very gratifying opportunity to learn other people's stories and make books for them. And then Amy, joining with you just last year and being able to empower people to do it themselves, because people can do it themselves, as you and I are discovering in our group, Photos That Matter Most. With just a little bit of encouragement and some tips, people don't need to pay me to do it. They can do it themselves. They can declutter their photos. They can learn how to just have the most fantastic memories for their family. And that's why you and I are here on this journey. We just love the fact that people can have the blessing of their pictures and stories and books like both you and I have for our families.
Rhonda, I love that story of how you transitioned over and really that's where the decluttering and simplifying and sorting, and we even talk about a memory bin to keep some of the things that are special from your parents or your kids, but very much a simplified photo life that we have. It's kind of like out of the computer, right, and into your life by telling the story. But it's really about finding those photos that matter most, like you said. And I'm so glad you joined, you decided to do this, because recently you've moved and downsized. And how did you declutter all of those things you no longer needed, like the negatives and the scrapbook supplies? And then what's your process for your family photos today? Because you're on the go, right? I mean, yes.
Yes. My husband and I sold our home, moved into a condo, less than half the size. And I had still hung on to few of those scrapbooking supplies, thinking my grandkids might use them for something. But I decided I didn't need that. I donated those. I had a bunch of extra printed pictures that, again, I thought maybe I'll have a use for them. I already had them in photo albums, so I didn't need those. I threw those away. I did have a very, very special collection of all of my negatives, beginning from when I got my first camera in the 70s. I know I'm dating myself for sure, but I had them all impeccably organized chronologically in acid-free envelopes. But I thought, I really don't need those. You can take a picture of a picture now, and it turns out just fine, and you can do color correction. I mean, technology really has given us a lot of options. And so I threw those away too. And really, I'm down to really my computer, and I have my photo albums. I'm even digitizing my printed scrapbooks. I mean, not my printed, but my physical scrapbooks. I'm digitizing them and uploading them to my favorite cloud storage account, so that literally everything has a backup in my cloud storage. So technology has provided a lot of wonderful options. And I think what message I do try to get through to people, though, is that we take way too many pictures because it's so easy on our phone cameras to just click, 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 click. I think when we were burning through film, we were more careful about how many pictures we took, because there went a roll of film. But with digital, we take so many. And if I could just get a message out to people, is just to be a little bit more thoughtful about the pictures that you do take, and then get a system where you can delete pictures right away. I look at my iPictures a couple times a week and get rid of the shots that I don't need. I'm constantly taking pictures of tags or a label or something to read it, funny stuff, or duplicates of the same soccer goal. I don't need 10 pictures of Ada making a soccer goal. I need one. So that is a message you and I both are passionate about, because I still make a yearly highlights book, January through December, of everything our family does, beginning from the first birthday of the year right until through Christmas and New Year's. I have this highlight book that I try to put 500 or 600 pictures in that book maximum. And so I limit myself specifically to that number of pictures for a year. And that's wonderful. Remember, my mom sometimes had 10 pictures for a whole year, and I still felt like my life was really well documented. And so I think 500 or 600 pictures in a highlights book for 1 year is really sufficient. We just don't need the number of pictures that we take, in my opinion. And I've done that highlights book for years and years and years. I mean, literally since my husband and I were married, I've done a highlights book of our family. And so over the years, that's been a learned lesson. We just don't need so many pictures. I hear people taking 1,200 pictures or 2,000, or Amy, I think you said somebody took 5,000 pictures just in the first few months of their baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, that's a lot of pictures to declutter.
That is so
Yeah.
true, Rhonda. And Rhonda, that's photo books. Take note. I mean, they can be done with today's auto books. They can be done in just minutes, right? So it's not like
so
the
quick.
old, like you have to sit there and like take hours and hours. I love that you and you get it done and get it ordered so your kids can see it right away, right?
Right,
So I
right,
love
I
that.
do.
Okay,
Yes.
so now Rhonda, okay, you could have easily like just gone off hiking and traveling, which you're doing alongside this, but you could have said, I don't really want to do another project right now, like what you and I are doing. Why did
Mhm.
you decide to go ahead and be a part of this Photos That Matter Most community? And go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wanted just one more opportunity to see if we could reach people with the importance of getting, like we just said in the name of our group, the photos that matter most in a place where people can look at them and enjoy them. And I don't think that your phone is a really good place to look at your photos and enjoy them. Where's the story? And do we sit down around our phone? I'm trying to get my kids and grandkids, the grandkids, my adult kids, they're good, but away from screens. I don't want to look at an iPad or a computer or a phone to see
Right.
pictures. I want to see them in our lap in a paper book where we can enjoy them with the story written down. The stories are getting lost. Even the historians, the famous historians out there, and we could find dozens of quotes about how this is a lost generation. The stories are not getting preserved. Yes, we've got the big media stories about what's happening, but people's individual life stories, they're getting lost because people aren't in general taking the time to make a book, to write the story. We just think, oh, they're backed up in the cloud. iCloud's got them, Google's got them, somebody, has got them in the cloud. And while a cloud for us, you and I, Amy, is a great backup, but it's not where I want to go sit down with my family and say, let's look at what we did last year. In front of the computer? No way. It needs to be in a book. And so with our last breath, if we can inspire people to see the importance of just getting rid of some of those excess photos, decluttering, sorting, and celebrating, as we like to say, so that they can have this gift of pictures and stories that would be really a meaningful legacy to leave. I would not consider leaving just a cloud storage as a legacy. It's better than nothing, having no memories, but to me, leaving a real legacy is to have my writing, my thoughts my words in a photo book that my kids and grandkids and great grandkids generations can read my words and what I thought and what we remembered as a family together.
Thank you, Rhonda. You have said that so well, and your passion shines through. You have so much experience working with so many different types of people all over the world, right? Who care about their photos and reducing the inventory that we have to take care of. That's what the decluttering is for whatever season you're in. If you have a brand new baby or you have whatever season you're in, um,
Mm-hmm.
photos, that's why we take the photos, right? And
Right.
so, Rhonda,
Mm-hmm.
you just are an inspiration for each and every one
Well,
of us. For
thank you.
me, I'm so grateful that you decided to come on in and partner and just see the joy that so people can realize it doesn't have to take their whole life. Taking
Right.
care of
Right.
photos, we and that's what we kind of will are sharing. So come back, give us a like below or subscribe because we're going to be sharing tips and actual questions that people have asked us. We're going to have a little ask Rhonda and Amy segment. So and we'll share tips because just to help people help you move forward. You might be stuck if you're listening today, or you might be a part, either you have a new baby or you're part of the sandwich generation where you maybe have childhood photos that were printed and then somebody,
Mm-hmm.
your mom gave those to you, or videos even, and then now you have all this digital and it's just overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. So we're kind of back where we were like when you started, Rhonda, the shoebox,
Mm-hmm.
right? Only now it's a
Yeah.
shoebox and the phone, the digital, right? We have both. The
Right.
sandwich generation has both. But
Right.
so thank you for being on with us today. And again, go ahead and like and subscribe so we can like and comment. We'd love to hear questions that you
Mm-hmm.
have because when we come
Yes.
back for future YouTube podcasts, we will answer questions that you post in
Yes.
the comments. Thank you so much,
Mm-hmm.
Rhonda. We
Yes.
love all of
Thank
you.
you, Amy.
Thank you for being here. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye-bye.